Top 10 Most Haunted Places in America. Number 1. The Moundsville Penitentiary. During its more than 100 years in operation, the Moundsville Penitentiary in West Virginia was a very violent correctional facility. Many of the almost 1,000 men in the prison were killed by the electric chair or even other prisoners. Now used as a place to tour, many people who visit reported incidents of hearing prisoners screaming. Number 2. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Before known as the Western State Hospital, this asylum was a home to many people with mental illness. The asylum started in 1864 and hundreds of people died before it closed down in 1994. The spirits said to haunt the site today date back to the Civil War era, when the asylum served as a military post. Number 3. Villisca Axe Murder House. On June 10, 1912, the old white frame house at 582nd Street became a grisly crime scene. The heinous murder of Josiah B. Moore, his wife, their 4 children and 2 young girls who were overnight guests rocked the small town of Villisca, IA, and the murderer was never identified. The house has since then been reformed into its original self with no plumbing or electricity. Number 4. The town of the Sammy Dean murder. Jerome, Arizona, is a former copper mining town with a paranormal reputation that dates back to the Wild West. The town is now home to just 400 residents, down from 15,000 in its heyday, but legend has it there are plenty more ghostly residents from the days of mining accidents and gunfights. One well-known spirit is the working girl Sammy Dean, a prostitute who was strangled by a customer in the Old Crib district. Her beautiful spirit roams the alleys looking for her killer, who was never found. Number 5. Cuban Club. Cuban Club, also known as Circulo Cubano de Tampa, can be found in Tampa's Ybor City neighborhood. In 1917, this spot was a popular hangout for Cuban immigrants who enjoyed the ballroom, outdoor bandshell and cantina with a stage and dance floor. Today, the compound, which is protected by the National Historic Register, hosts concerts and special events and is the setting for many ghost stories about spirits playing the piano and riding the elevators. Number 6. Fort Mifflin. Built in 1771, Fort Mifflin is the country's only Revolutionary War battlefield that is still intact. Among the ghosts said to haunt the fort is screaming women who are so loud that Philadelphia police have been called to investigate. Number 7. Moon River Brewery. Moon River's Brewery was originally a city hotel with a history of violence during the Civil War. Now there have been reports of bottle being thrown across the room and other incidents. Number 8. The Sultan's Palace. The house at 716 Dauphine Street is a classic French Quarter beauty with classic wrought iron balconies and a large courtyard. But in the 1800s, this residence was a house of horrors for the Sultan, a wealthy man with a depraved lifestyle, multiple wives and children, and a harem of women and young boys held against their will. Neighbors complained about the mysterious habits of this man who had a predilection for partying, opium and torture. But the greatest mystery in the house was the Sultan's demise, when he was buried alive in the courtyard after his family and harem were hacked to pieces in a bloodbath by an unknown perpetrator. Female residents since then have reported incidents of feeling someone grope them. Number 9. Calcasieu Courthouse. Toni Jo Henry has been the talk of the small town of Lake Charles since the 1940s, when she killed a man in cold blood. The former prostitute was the first female to be killed in the electric chair. Now her spirit haunts the courthouse where she was trailed. Number 10. Eastern State Penitentiary. The Eastern State Penitentiary might be the creepiest place in all of Philly. The old prison kept many men isolated. Now people come to visit the penitentiary to see the tortured spirits of the men.